ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ध्यान श्लोक। शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिहृद्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्। Now we come to the 26th verse of Sri Vishnu Sahasranama. Suprasadah prasannatma Vishwadrik Vishwabhuk Vibhuhu Satkarta Satkruta Sadhuhu Jahnuhu Narayano Naraha. Suprasadah prasannatma Vishwadrik Vishwabhuk Vibhuhu Satkarta Satkruta Sadhuhu Jahnuhu Narayana Naraha. Suprasadaha means gracious. The Supreme Being is full of supreme grace, ever satisfied. He is satisfied with so little, so easily. He is called Suprasadaha. Even for those who may remember him in a spirit of constant antagonism, his grace is readily available. We can immediately think of Putana, who tried to poison him when he was a baby, Kamsa, who planned to kill him right from the time he was born, Shishupala, despite Lord Krishna's affection for him as a nephew, throughout his life abused him all along. All these persons were also ultimately absorbed within the Lord. He was duly rewarded by the Lord. Bhagavad Gita, verse 26 of chapter 9 says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tat aham bhaktyupahrutam bhaktya upahrutam ashnami prayatat anaha. Whoever offers me with devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, even a drop of water, that devout offering of the striving self called Nishkama Bhakta, I accept. Bhagavan has neither raga, that is attachment, nor dvesha, hate, for anyone or for anything. So obviously, he is always perpetually, supremely happy, called Prasannatma. Prasannatma is one who is always happy, who is delightful, ever pure, all blissful. Ever pure because he is untouched by the sorrows which are normally experienced by all living beings. They have sorrows because they are under the spell of three gunas, sattva, rajo, tamo gunas. Bhagavan is gunatitaha. He is beyond gunas. He is beyond attachment. He is beyond raga, dvesha. So naturally, he is beyond any semblance of sorrow also. Again, Bhagavad Gita declares that the entire cause for sorrow of the human being, of the jiva, is attachment. Attachment with imperfect conditions. Attachment which is always temporary, impermanent. So when this object or a person vanishes, we are nothing but sorrow. Paramatma is untouched by any such attachment. So he is ever pure. He is personification of supreme bliss. Now the question is, how does he please everyone in the universe? He does it by being the supporter of the universe, supporters of the beings. In the earlier verse, we have seen his name as Dharani Dharha, Bhudharha. So he is the one, he is supporter of the entire universe. Now, in this process supporting, does he feel any burden? No, because the supporter and the supported are essentially one and the same. Like a mother with a lot of affection will be supporting, taking care of her children. A mother will never feel her child as a burden. The Supreme is like this. Supreme is the mother, Supreme Mother, Universal Mother, Mother Goddess. So, support in that way, the Supreme Being is the supporter of the universe. Ocean, the supporters of the waves. We can say the ocean will never feel burdened by the stormy surface or a consequent increase in the size of the waves. He is the effortless supporter of the universe. He is the sole supporter of the universe. He is never burdened or troubled by the world. He does it very, very happily because he has nothing but love and affection for us. All our perceptions, all our emotions, all our thoughts, these are possible only because Paramatma is the substratum, is the enabling factor for our body, mind, and intellect. He is a Vishwadruk. He is also called Vishwabhuk. Vishwabhuk literally means one who swallows the universe. Looks very strange, but this is one of the meanings, but it is not the only meaning. Vishwabhuk is the one who enjoys, who swallows, agreed, but who enjoys. He enjoys because he is apparently conditioned by the mind and intellect of the jiva. He is residing in a body. He is called Dehi. Actually, he is not attached. He is not conditioned. But apparently, because of Maya, it looks like he is conditioned by the mind and intellect. So, he will also be subject to the joys and sorrows of the human beings. In this sense, he is an experiencer of the joys and common sorrows which we all experience. That way, we can call him. He is also enjoys, means he partakes. He also suffers. He enjoys the happiness. He suffers the sorrow. He partakes in our experience. This is the apparent meaning. Now, in the plane of God consciousness and all the experiences, but experiences of waking, dream, and day sleep. But he is the one who is transcending all these three stages. It is a state of perfection. So, as Vishwabhuk, he is doing all this because he is multiformed, he is omniformed, he is considered to be Vibhuhu. Essentially, the infinite is one single, non dual, indivisible, all pervading entity. But through Maya, through the prism of Maya, the equipments of the mind and intellect, because of this, apparently he looks like he apparently becomes the pluralistic world of names and forms. He appears as millions and millions of living and non-living beings. All that we say now is are nothing but his forms only. So that way we can call him omniformed, multiformed. He is the, actually speaking, he is the Virat Rupa. Thus we can also see his innumerable incarnations. He is born again and again, again and again. He is born to help the beings only. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Age after age, he incarnates for serving a divine purpose. And most surprising thing is, in spite of being so powerful, being a Vibhu, supreme, he is also a worshipper, not worshipped. He is a worshipper. He worships. Whom does he worship? He worships all good and wise beings. Anybody who is good, he himself will go and worship him. His palace is ever lit up with his hospitality. He himself presides over the loving reception of the righteous, Dharmatma, a noble soul, a good soul. He does it. He will go to their doorstep. He'll serve them. We have enough examples of Krishna. Pandripura is one example where he stands in attention, ever. He stands in always in attention at the service of the devotee. What he does. Now, such a noble being, is he himself not worshipped? Certainly. He is the worshipper, but he is also worshipped. He is actually adored, loved by all good people. Not only is worshipped by great men of wisdom and devotion like the Sanat Kumaras, Narada, and others, but he is also invoked and worshipped by all living beings. Actually, he is the inner consciousness. He is the Lord within, who is fed by every experience of all living beings. Actually, these are like oblations in a yajna. Satkrutaha. This way, he is worshipped. He is a worshipper. He is also the worshipped. Such a great being himself is extremely righteous. A person has to be righteous to deserve respect and worship by the ordinary human beings. He is called Sadhu. Sadhu is a righteous person, one who functions strictly according to the righteous code of conduct. Code of conduct, of course, is laid by the same divinity, but that same divinity also will not transgress any of this. The best example is Rama. Lord Rama, despite being so powerful, he himself will follow every rule which is laid down. He feels himself bound by all the rules. Because of this code of conduct only, he happily gave up the kingdom and went to the forest. And ultimately, at the end of his avtara, he even forsaked his wife, Mother Sita, knowing fully well she is beyond guilt because he feels he has set an example. He has to follow the rules and regulations which apply to everybody else in that particular yuga. So he does it. The Supreme Sadhu is Vishnu himself. The Atman, the Self, is a mighty presence. It lends intelligence and capacity to inert matter, but it itself will never get entangled. So, a righteous person, such a noble person, such a righteous person is naturally becomes a leader of men. Yahnuhu. Because he leads all creatures along the path of law of action and reaction. Entire world is governed by karma and karma phala, action and reaction. Once action take place, the reaction, the result of that is bound to follow. If not immediately, maybe at a later stage. Now, this is the law of karma. It is the law of karma only. The evil-minded, they are led to a hell made by themselves for themselves. They may blame anybody, but they are the only cause for themselves. As a contrast to that, are the noble people, or the good people, who are righteous men. They are bound to be getting a reward. What reward? In what form? And this, of course, the Supreme will decide. It may not be known to ordinary human beings. The Supreme Being is the final resting place. He is called Narayana. Narayana. The word Narayana has a number of meanings. At least let us discuss. Narayana means Ayana, Ayanam means shelter. Nara will mean can mean man. So Narayana, Mahavishnu as Narayana is the shelter, is ultimate abode for human beings. He is the resting place for every human beings. Nara also implies the term Nara implies the egocentric individuality. A large collection of them is together known as a Nara. So one who is the sole refuge for the entire living creatures is called Narayana. He is called Narayana because he is a refuge for Nara. Nara is a group of individuals. Each individual is an egocentric individuality called a Jiva, that is Nara. Narayana is Narayana. Now, Nara also means Ishvara, and the tattvas born out of him are Nara. So, as Ishvara, he is a controller, he is a regulator, he is the very source of all existence in these elements or tattvas. He is called Narayana. Narayana, Nara, also means waters. The Lord is described as lying alone upon the wa- cosmic waters, the eternal baby floating upon a banyan leaf, holding his lotus hand, folding his lotus hand, his own lotus feet, and sucking his own toe with his lotus. It's beautiful verse. Karara vindena padara vindam. Okay? Karara vindena mukara vindam. Beautiful verse you say, because I'm not to recollect now. The names and forms of the universe dissolve themselves into their elemental waters. Thus, also he is called Narayana. There are many other meanings for the sacred name, like self of all bodies, the dynamic force behind matter, the witness of all good and bad. All these are there. Most famous verse is about this is whoever is there, whatever is there in this world, known through perception or report, all that is pervaded by Narayana within and without. Yatcha kinchit jagat sarvam drishyate suyate apiva. Whatever is seen, whatever can be listened to, whatever can be seen in this universe, all that, both inside and outside, antaha bahihi cha, inside and outside, tat sarvam, all that, vyapya, is pervaded by Narayana. व्याप्य स्थितः नारायणः यच्च किञ्चित् जगत्सर्वं दृश्यते श्रूयतेऽपि वा अन्तर्बहिश्च तत्सर्वं व्याप्य नारायणस्थितः. Now we come to the last name, which is Naraha, guide. One who guides all creatures strictly according to their actions. He is none other than Mahavishnu, ancient Sanatana, ancient self, Sanatana Atma, Sanatana Atma, Paramatma, Bhutatma, Mahavishnu. So with this, we'll conclude this particular verse with a Shanti Mantra. ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु, सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।